Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being with us tonight here on A Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp
and Duke Gomez-Schempp.
You're listening to 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. And tonight, we're going to be talking about Birdie's buddy, Deborah Parker. You know what birdie I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh, yeah, the little birdie?
No, this one's a big birdie, and her name is Deborah Gutierrez. Brenda Gutierrez. Birdie Gutierrez is what she goes by on Facebook. And Birdie is associated with the group, is the founder, the executor of the group Bridges of Love Across Borders, which has ties to the groups that are working with the caravan, that are funding, supporting, sustaining, abetting the group Pueblos Sin Fronteras, like others I have mentioned, Al Otro Lado, for instance. And I'm going to keep bringing you connections and connectors. And Deborah Parker is definitely one of those. We'll get a deep dive on Deborah Parker tonight. And I also want to thank you out there for your hard work in sending me the information, the posts, the videos, everything, your support, your donations. That is what allows us to do our work, and we appreciate that very much. So, Duke, tell folks how they can get to us.
Well, you can get to us in many ways, and thank you all for sending all the information that you've given us. And we, like Cindy said, we try to use all of it, and some of it we use, and some of it we bank. And you can get hold of us in many different ways. We have a call-in line. That's a message line, basically. It's 701-566-0917. Again, that's 701-566-0917. You can also email Cindy at kpppfm.com. You can email me, Duke, at kpppfm.com. You can tweet us at media_ppp. And you can find us on Facebook at 88.1 FM Fargo Moorhead, the People's Press Project of Mexi-Can. You can find us on YouTube, excuse me, at the channel Duke1517. That's my channel. That's where we put all the videos from the shows. We download them in high definition and put them up there, and then we put them on our kpppfm.com website. If you go to kpppfm.com, you'll find all of our recent shows. It's all up to date now. And then you'll find audio files, and a lot of these audio files will break down and add hourly breaks and things like that, and play them on the radio, because we're a nonprofit, non-commercial, low-power FM radio station in Moorhead, Minnesota, Fargo, North Dakota. And we are a nonprofit, so therefore we rely on the donations and the support of viewers and listeners like you. And we've been around for a couple of years broadcasting in Fargo, Moorhead, and we've been doing live streaming for almost the same amount of time. And the live streams have reached all sorts of people. So, and you're a new audience that can't actually hear us on a local radio, and we're able to spread this news far and wide, even international. Mm-hmm. So we'd love your support. If you'd go to kpppfm.com/donate, you can read a little bit more about our organization, and you can make an online donation there, or you can send a check in the mail, and it gives you the address right there. So we do appreciate your support. And welcome to the show tonight.
I wanted to share that people are complaining that sometimes they don't get notifications for when we're are taping our live streams for the broadcasts that people hear in the Fargo Moorhead area here later. And I wanted to make a suggestion. This is a life hack that people can use so that they can still find our show. I don't know why our Facebook page has had so much trouble with these types of things where we can't even invite people to our shows from our page anymore. So I would suggest that folks follow us all over Facebook on our other pages. Go to Mexi-Can online and follow that page, because we post our show there. Then go to the People's Press Project, our organizational page. Follow us there, because we post our show on that Facebook page as well. And then follow me on my public page at Cindy Go Schempp on Facebook. And then we post the show there. If you don't get the notifications from 88.1 FM, you're probably going to get the notifications from at least one of these other ones if you follow me on all of them. So follow me.
Yeah, it's worth a try. Worth a try. You know, I don't even get notifications anymore. And I'm an admin on the page, so whenever we go live, I have to go to the page and just look at it. And then I'll see that we're live, even though I know we just went live. I pushed the button and it says live. I used to up to a week ago. And so in the past week, that's even changed for me. And when you watch the videos, usually at the end it says get live notifications. I don't get that notice anymore either. So it's something that Facebook is doing. It's not something on our end that we've actually done. So it's like...
Damn you,
That's right.
Okay, so let's get to the show. I want folks to understand what I'm talking about if you haven't been following my shows, if you don't know what I'm talking about tonight. This was with regard to the migrant caravan. Okay? We're talking about the migrant caravans, the phenomenon that has just occurred, just started. We had never seen this before. People by the thousands are coming from Central America. They claim not to be organized by anyone. They claim to have happened organically out of a need for them to flee their country. They claim that there is no one that is funding them and that the organization that Pueblos Sin Fronteras that was traveling with these caravans was decentralized group of volunteers. They're not a 501c3, and they just want to witness. They just want to help. They're part of the caravan themselves. They're just migrants with a dream to come to America.
Oh, yeah.
But we've now learned through a joint press release that was made by Olga Sanchez de Cordero, the head of the Secretariat of the Interior of Mexico, at a conference on which they were discussing immigration at the Immigration Institute with Department of Homeland Security's Kirsten Nielsen, where they said they were investigating Pueblos Sin Fronteras, this group that says they're not coordinating, they're not organizing, they're not taking in millions of dollars to pull this stunt off. And Interpol is looking into it. And several other countries that are involved from Central America all the way up into Canada are being looked at more carefully. This Pueblos Sin Fronteras group and the people that have funded it and the people that have fundraised for it and the people that have supported it and worked with them. Because they're being investigated for human trafficking. Because they're looking into allegations, which I don't think that the Department of Homeland Security, the Secretariat of the Interior, and Interpol would announce publicly or say lightly if they didn't have probable cause. Just alone, right here on my show, on a Mexican Crossing Lines, I brought you interviews from a pastor in Tijuana from the Agape Church that told me that not only was one of the groups connected to Pueblos Sin Fronteras, the lawyers group, Al Otro Lado, not only were they marrying people and then having them use these marriage certificates, which are not legal, which are not binding, which are not even real.
That's right, they're fake.
to file false asylum claims, fraudulent asylum claims. Mm-hmm. They're advising, and he brought us the evidence. He showed it here on my show, and he gave me the interview explaining how they do this, and not just with the set of migrants, the couple whose records we showed you on our show, but with others as well. And not only that, he said they were working closely with a group of activists from the Caravan Support Network, now called the Border Support Network, which had kidnapped a child, which were providing drugs and using drugs with members of the caravan. That was just one interview, folks. One interview from one pastor in Tijuana in which these groups were implicated. But I had told you from the onset, when I saw them, when I saw these people that were connected to the Standing Rock protest, I said, hey, everyone, these people are frauds. These people are phonies. I don't know what they're doing in Mexico, but they shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be speaking on behalf of indigenous people. They shouldn't be speaking on behalf of the people most affected by migrant caravans, this crisis in particular, Mexicans, and the country of Mexico. Because a lot of these people are getting dumped in Mexico by groups like Pueblos Sin Fronteras and those who fund them, and abandoned. And abandoned. And they're going to stay there. Many of them will have to stay there for years while they wait for their asylum claims to be heard. Asylum claims that more likely than not, as I've told you, will not be granted. So, I wanted to show you what the groups, what these people in the Caravan Support Network are up to these days.
Okay.
What's going on. By the way, first, I wanted to talk about a group of a lot of young people. Many are speculated to be unaccompanied minors that basically cut a hole in the Playas Tijuana border wall and ran across the wall, ran through the hole into the United States, and this craziness ensued. Let me play this video. This was sent to me by the pastor of Agape Church and Shelter today.
Oh, is it the Spanish one or the English one?
Yep, the Spanish one.
We had it queued up for the other way, but here we go.
Oh, I'll translate what they're saying. Look, there's a bunch of people. There they go, there they go, there they go. There's a bunch of people. They crossed in. Oh my God. They can't stop them all. Wow. Yes. Look at how many. Well, yeah, they've made it in. They're going to try and stop them. There's too many of them, and they're kids. They're kids. They're kids. The majority of them are kids that are running. Wow. Look at, there's immigration, Border Patrol. There's a Border Patrol. Let's see how far they get them. Maybe they get reinforcements, but they've already crossed into their land. There's some other Border Patrol on motorcycles, but they're in the United States soil now. So they have to detain them. They have to put them in a detention facility, or... But I mean, it's impossible to stop all of them, though. Because look at that little kid running. Look at the little one. And they're running up into the mountain. They don't even know where to go. There's another one with their baby. But they can't stop them. You know, look, they're still running. There's a motorcycle after them, but they just can't catch up. How many do you think there are? Like 40? More or less? And they can't stop them. They're not stopping them. I mean, they gotta catch them first, and then they put them inside of a truck, or, you know. But they're on American soil now. They're on American soil. The idea is that they shouldn't let themselves get caught, right? But they'll detain them. Look at this one. Poor guy. He's like, got a crutch, and he's running with a crutch. Look at how many crossed. Look, there's Border Patrol. They don't even know where to go, which way to go. Look, the ones that went over there, that way. And the Border Patrol went up into the mountainside because that's where the majority of them ran. Okay, so I translated what the lady who was videotaping that was saying. And obviously she thought it was hilarious that this happened. Now we're going to hear an English version of this report in the English media. And you'll see it from a different angle. It's almost like whoever was filming this was with the group of people that cut the hole.
Okay.
Or they had footage of that, because just look at the angle, Duke. It's crazy.
All right.
Check it.
Of migrants accused of crossing the border illegally are under arrest.
Take a look at this video. It shows a group of migrants cutting a border fence in Tijuana and running into the United States. News 8's Steve Fiorina is live in Imperial Beach with the very latest. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. It was a bold assault on the border here, but all for naught. It's apparently every single one of those who crossed was taken into custody.
She's trying to get in, bro. Look at that. Bro, she's trying to get in. Are you kidding me?
Video camera up close and personal as almost 60 people decided to break through the international border at Playa de Tijuana. The mesh portion of the fence is cut apart, and the race is on. Individuals, couples, and families with small children squeezing between the bars and onto the sandy beach on the U.S. side. You can almost feel the intensity of the moment.
The desperation, the frustration, having children needing to wait in Tijuana for weeks and weeks without knowing what their future might hold for them. And so when they see that the United States is just a step away, you know, these individuals took that opportunity.
Who is that guy?
Now, there are several videos of this online. The debate rages, though, as the president continues to say he's going to win, and Congress says, no, you're not.
So this is like a cat and mouse game for these people, but you know, whoever is helping them do this is really bolstering Trump's argument that he needs to have more security because things like this are happening.
Yeah.
So whatever these activists tell you about what they're really doing it for, to, you know, help the people who are desperate because they're sitting there waiting in Tijuana for weeks and weeks with their children or for months or whatever it is. Who organized them in the first place? Who organized people that didn't have the means to cross, that didn't have the legal basis and or the means to get to the American border to ask for asylum? Who did that? Who put those people in this situation at the border where they are basically bottlenecking the American immigration system to the point that they're trying to break it? And I know that that is the foundation of what these legal teams, these legal groups have done in the past here at Standing Rock. Remember?
Exactly. Oh, exactly.
Hundreds of people get arrested. We'll fill all of the jails. We'll break the system.
Break the system and get justice.
We'll raise money by the millions to sue President Trump and do all of these things. And they didn't do any of it. They didn't do any of it. It was just all a big scam. And they made a bunch of money, and a bunch of people ended up in jail that, you know, people that were innocent, like Kathleen Bennett, that these people framed, got left by the wayside. Tragedies do occur, but, you know, the victims of these activists, the victims of these groups are rarely ever heard from. And the rest of them want to cover up anything that you're telling about what these people really do, what the outcomes for the people they're helping look like a lot of the times. But they don't want that. They don't want that heard anywhere. They don't want that seen anywhere. What was really disturbing to me was how many little children there were in there. How that woman is saying that most of them are kids. Because they have been messing around with these unaccompanied minors. They have been, it's like they're warehousing kids on purpose because they want to use those kids like some kind of a weapon against our immigration system to make it break, to fill the detention centers. And then, you know, it's ridiculous and cruel to the people that you are using as guinea pigs in your project.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about that. And guinea pigs they are. If they're not guinea pigs, then they are circus freaks in their money raising schemes, because they go do poverty porn in Mexico and they raise money off of these folks. And as the pastor from Agape Church told us, like when they went to his shelter, they took pictures. They took pictures there with the migrants, and they said they were raising money for the shelter for his church. He didn't see a penny of it. He didn't get any of the money that they said they were raising for him. That's what these folks do, you see. And of course, the money always goes to their PayPal. It goes to their Venmo.
That's right.
It goes to their Cash Me. It goes to their money laundering scheme that has no transparency and zero accountability. That's where it goes. And one of those people, by the way, The video of the migrants that you saw crossing right there in Tijuana is a location that we saw a lot of these folks from the Border Support Network, the Caravan Support Network, the Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network, like Lolly B and Jake Lee and Adam Elfers and Kei Kurimoto. Remember?
Oh,
they
yeah.
were part of the group of people that actually went with the migrants to the Agape shelter that were taking pictures and putting out their GoFundMes based on those pictures. And in fact, they're still trying to make money off of them. Do you remember the last time we saw Adam Elfers? He was making a really disgusting video in which he was pretending to have a Spanish accent.
Oh, yeah.
And he was raising money for his friend Danny or Donald or whatever his name was, who has kids back in Honduras. They needed to raise money for all of them to go to school for the year because Danny is stuck in Tijuana. Well, he's in the band now, Duke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he started a band with Adam Elfers, and they're having an immigrant festival.
Oh.
Check this out. This is the poster for the immigrant festival. And there's Adam Elfers, and it says, it's this weekend.
That's right.
This is their mission. Look at the post. There's Kei Kurimoto in the photo. There's Adam Elfers, and look at the guy in the suit. Remember, the guy in the suit is the guy he was raising money for the kids so they could go to school. Recognize that guy? He's wearing a suit now.
Wow.
He was a member of the migrant caravan, right? And there's Kei Kurimoto standing behind him. And do you recognize the guy standing next to her in the back? He's one of the same people that were in the posters with Kei Kurimoto and Jake Lee and Lolly B before when they were raising money off of them. Once you start looking at these pictures long enough, you start recognizing some of these migrants from the caravan that they pimp out over and over and over again. Go to the right, and you will see that this was posted on Adam Elfers' page, by Adam Elfers on the Border Support Network page. And here is their immigrant band at work. I'm sorry to do this to you, but I had to see it, so you have to see it too.
All right.
And listen to it. It's terrible.
Oh, boy.
That reminded me of elementary school music class.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Was it just me?
No. I was going to play it again, but no.
It was like over there like, da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's right.
This little stick.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, Kei Kurimoto is in the band. Like, they're going to be selling you CDs soon, folks.
Oh, definitely.
And with Adam Elfers' horrible, terrible accent, Spanish. And people will buy them. People will buy them because I don't know why they would do it. Because it's horrible. It makes my ears hurt. But anyway. These are the folks that, as you know, were basically taking the opportunity to make money off of the suffering, the migrant caravan people's plight, which they helped to fund and create because they're the ones working with Pueblos Sin Fronteras. And another person, and remember, a lot of these folks were on that leaked document from San Diego 7, that leaked list. A lot of these folks were part of the group of people that got stopped by Homeland Security in question, including this member of the clergy that Nicole Ramos said is her friend, and she talked about on Democracy Now's interview, Kaji Duska. I'm not sure how to say her name, but anyway, Reverend Kaji stood for justice at the border with New Sanctuary Coalitions and the caravan. She was one of the clergy that was there to get arrested. She was later with a group of people that held the press conference with Nicole Ramos of Al Otro Lado. They worked very closely together with Nicole Ramos. Nicole Ramos is one of the people that lost her fast pass to get into the Mexican territory, and her co-founder of the organization Al Otro Lado, Nora Phillips, was detained, interrogated, and deported from Mexico. Erica Pinheiro, the other of their colleagues in that cohort of lawyers was detained at the border and not allowed to enter. I'm not sure that they're all on that list, but we know that Nicole Ramos is from Al Otro Lado. We know that there are a variety of people from Pueblos Sin Fronteras that are on that list, and we know that there's a variety of people that are from that list from Border Support Network. We also know that there is a number of other types of people like clergy, journalists, photographers, etc. Right?
Right.
Here is a picture of another person that was on that list, or that at least was questioned, that was listed in one of those articles from the San Diego Tribune, Union Tribune, as being questioned, along with Myron Dewey. And he is pictured here with some of the immigrants. You may recognize them. The one that has rabbit ears on his head is the one that was wearing the suit with the one they were raising money for his kids to go to school. Same dude. He's right there with the bunny ears on his head. He's right next to Wiaka Eagleman. And Jake Lee is in the forefront. When was this picture taken? Same people. Look how nicely dressed these kids are. Do you remember them from the other posters?
Oh, yeah.
They've used the same kids. Some of the same people that went out
to pizza party
and to the nice house to play pool. Go to the right, and you'll see that this was posted by Birdie Gutierrez of Bridges of Love Across Borders. Equal opportunity exploitation. And you see that she has tagged Jake Lee and Wambly Wikasa, otherwise known as Wiaka Eagleman of Errol Medicine, one of the admins on the Caravan Support Network Facebook page.
Okay, yeah.
All of these folks work together, and Birdie also has a post with another woman I hadn't seen or heard from in a long time, and that would be Deborah Parker.
Oh.
Deborah Parker is the tall woman in the back with the black long sleeve shirt on behind the shorter three women that are right in front of her that are part of the migrant caravan. This picture was taken out in near the supply garage, the supply unit, where they keep all of the things that Birdie Gutierrez's Bridges of Love Across Borders collects and then takes over the border into Mexico to their location of respite, their place of convening, the Caritas shelter, which they run. Her and Mike Lane. Is it Mark?
Yeah.
Mark Lane of Minority Humanitarian Foundation. This woman, Deborah Parker, if you don't know who Deborah Parker is, she is first and foremost the wife of Myron Dewey. The wife of Digital Smoke Signals, Myron Dewey. Myron Dewey, the co-filmmaker of the movie Awake, A Nightmare at Standing Rock. What was it called? Dream of Standing Rock?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I messed up the name. It gives me nightmares when I watch it, when I remember it. He made that movie with Josh Fox, who was connected to the Hollywood PR machine that brought you the shenanigans at Standing Rock in the first place. And I haven't seen her in a long time because you see her nowhere near Myron Dewey all of the time.
Exactly.
She's never with her husband. I never see her in pictures with him. I never see her on the road with him. I never see her do nothing with Myron Dewey. And I suspect that after the Standing Rock shenanigans, where people like Chase Iron Eyes and Myron Dewey and many of the other men were not only accused of womanizing, but were caught literally sometimes with their pants down. Like Chase Iron Eyes.
Yeah. Then
I thought, oh, well, maybe, that's the reason why they ain't hanging around much, because, he's done 2 times to her 1 too many times, right?
Exactly.
But I don't know. I was very surprised to see Deborah Parker in the picture. I was like, oh my God, that's Deborah Parker. That's his wife. And I'm going to prove it to you. And in the picture also is pictured Birdie Gutierrez and Myron Dewey. They're taking a poverty porn picture with one of the groups of people from the migrant caravan that they have personally rescued and brought back to life. And then if you look on the right, you will see that this was posted by Birdie Gutierrez, where she tags Deborah Parker, who she's friends with. And if you scroll down to the right and down and to the right, you will see that that is Deborah Parker. And if you make this a little bit bigger, you'll notice that it says there she is an artist and a mother and an activist. Oh, a mom, an activist, an educator, and that she studied at the University of Washington.
Okay.
Okay, but that is not all that Deborah Parker is. She is so much more, Duke.
Mm-hmm.
To reduce her to a mother, an activist, and an educator is... Oh, and also, of course, it says that she was for the Tuliap tribe, right? So, I wanted to give you a deeper dive into Birdie's buddy, Deborah Parker. And here is Birdie's post about Deborah Parker and Myron Dewey that had that picture in it. Duke, would you read that for me?
I can try. Birdie Gutierrez is with Deborah Parker and Myron Dewey. So they were together that time. December 27th, 2018. Yesterday we had the pleasure of providing much needed donations and some financial relief to our families who have been dropped off in the streets in the freezing cold in the middle of the night by heartless Border Patrol. Thank you, Myron Dewey and Deborah Parker, for your support in transporting families from hotel to storage and from storage to the department store to go shopping and then back to the hotel. And thank you so much for sorting donations at the storage units. To all our supporters, we cannot do this without your financial donations and support. Please continue donating to the Bridge of Love Across the Border, GoFundMe, blah, 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 blah. And then that picture we just saw, then we see...
So she's raising funds.
Mm-hmm.
She's tagging Deborah Parker.
Yeah.
She's also getting street cred because this means something.
Yeah.
If you scroll down further, you'll see that a woman named Opal comments, and Birdie then responds to her. She says it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to meet them and welcome them. She's talking about the migrants and their babies. I am truly blessed. And then, oh, look, there's Mason Bobby Leonard, who is at the Yauli or the Somisek camp. He's one of the ones flying drones with Orlando Cruz.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget that they're connected to the wackos that are at the Somisek and the Yauli camps.
Mm-hmm.
Like Orlando Cruz that are talking about the cartels shooting at them and getting unregistered drones. Mm-hmm. Don't forget that they're asking for body armor at that other camp.
Yep.
Don't forget what they're talking about. And then, of course, there's more, another post from Bridges of Love Across Borders. That's Birdie herself.
Yeah.
And Monica Cortez comments. And then Deborah Parker comments back to Birdie's post saying, "Thank you for sharing your heart and soul with all of us, Birdie Gutierrez. I pray folks keep helping to spread the love and the kindness to those who need it most." And Bridges of Love, which is Birdie Gutierrez, responds, "You're welcome, Deborah Parker. I'm so very grateful to you and Myron for your help and support. I too pray folks keep helping. Our families could certainly use the help."
Mm-hmm.
So, why is it important that somebody like Deborah Parker, Myron's wife, support and put her name and get tagged in posts and be in pictures and ask for money and raise money for Birdie Gutierrez Bridge of Love Across Borders? Why would that be important? Well, let me tell you. Here is Birdie's post video. This is a post where she posted this video, and Deborah Parker is in the video with her. I'm going to play that for you in just a minute. But first, I wanted you to see that this came from the page for Birdie Gutierrez, and she's tagging Deborah Parker, and they're at the storage unit. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look in the comments, you'll see that Jeannie Wong, the white lady that was in the video I just showed yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That was taking the donations and doing her poverty porn video of helping the kids and taking donations to Caritas shelter.
Mm-hmm.
There she is commenting. And she puts the GoFundMe.
Yep.
Here's the way you can support Bridge of Love Across Borders. I showed you in my show yesterday that Mohammed El-Nakib, that is actually working with the San Diego Rapid Response Network, was calling himself a member of the Bridges of Love Across Borders group with Birdie. I told you that Mark Lane, also working with Bridges of Love Across Borders and Birdie Gutierrez, and that also runs the Caritas shelter in Tijuana, also has been working with Bridges of Love Across Borders. All of them. They're part of the things, and then they're part of the other things. So here is Birdie's post with Deborah Parker's comments in the screenshots.
Oh, the video's next, I thought.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, play the video.
We just did this. Yeah.
We did do that. I'm sorry. Play the video.
I really don't care about my face right now. I don't even know what I look like. Hi, Birdie. Hi. How are you?
We're live here.
Oh, you are now?
Okay. Should I start here?
No,
We haven't started it?
Oh, sorry. No, we're good.
Birdie, you want to talk to us tonight about what just happened? I just seen your heart feel like it exploded in a way, and
Yeah, it's the fact that I finally got to see the families that we've been supporting. I've been supporting Caritas shelter since the last caravan was here 8 months ago, but I'm not able to cross, and so I haven't met the families that are coming through here, and especially the ones that are coming through the shelter that we've adopted, which is Caritas shelter. So at 4 in the morning on Christmas Eve, we found out that there was some members of Caritas shelter because we had left our phone number with them in case they crossed and they had any problems. And they contacted us and told us that they were out there in the cold, sitting outside in the freezing cold, that they had been dumped there by Border Patrol, because that's what Border Patrol does. They don't have a heart, and they're dropping off families everywhere without any compassion at all whatsoever. You know, we're human beings, every single one of us, and it's terribly cruel what they're doing to our families. And so one of the babies was just a tiny little baby, and he was just like had no protection whatsoever. And shame on you for doing that, Border Patrol. This is a disgrace. This is a disgrace to our country. I'm ashamed of who we are, of who you are. I'm not ashamed of who I am because I'm a compassionate person, but I want it to be known that this is not how we should treat each other, especially vulnerable human beings that are coming here seeking refuge from something that we created and that we caused. So, I once we got them here, our members of our group, Mark Lane, Mohammed, Maestra Gretel, and I'm saying that by name because it does matter who gets up in the middle of the night and goes out there and gets these people and brings them to comfort. And they brought them to La Quinta and got them into a hotel, and they're being comfortable. But I was elated. I mean, to even say I was elated doesn't even describe my feelings, to be able to go to them and to hold them and to welcome them. It's a privilege to be able to welcome them. It's a privilege to be able to love their babies. It's not supposed to be something that we're supposed to take advantage of. You know, you don't do that to people. But so the bad part about it is just that it's just a quick hello, and it's a sad goodbye, because now, you know, I just like saw them leave. And before they left, though, we made sure that they were well fed. You know, we made sure that they had all the necessities that they did, from the underwear to their shoes to their socks to their jackets to everything that they needed in order to start their lives all over again. And I just want to let the people know that when you have this privilege to be able to connect with these beautiful families that are starting their whole lives all over, then it's our responsibility, every single one of us, it's our responsibility to welcome them and treat them with love and kindness and compassion, just like you would want to be treated on a daily basis. They were so overwhelmed with gratitude for all the love that they've gotten from us here, and that's what we need to continue to do. So I just want to ask the people that are in the positions to be able to have that privilege to welcome them and embrace them. Embrace them with all your love. Welcome them here. And, you know, I'm just overwhelmed with emotion from being elated to actually having had the privilege to communicate with them and embrace them and hug their babies and hold their babies and love on them. It's a privilege to be able to do that. So, you know, I just want to pass that on so that whoever's in contact with these families, pay it forward. You're in a very privileged situation to be able to be in contact with these human beings that just want to they want to live somewhere where they're going to be able to live in peace, where they're going to be able to be self-sufficient. They're hard workers. They come with a dream that they're going to be able to live their life a little bit better, but so much better for their children. And it's up to us to welcome them and help them find that peace and love and comfort and welcome and compassion. That's all I ask. Thank you for listening.
Do we want to show the inside of the?
Oh yeah, yeah, we could do that.
Okay, we're gonna take a walk inside of this storage here to see just one of our storages to see what folks are donating and how you can help to wherever you are. Be a support so you can help. Like today we had some, three of the mothers just left. They have children. One is a 2-month-old, so we were able to provide some diapers and some wipies and some toiletries, but we'll come on inside and take a look. So today we've been doing some organizing and we have a lot more work to go, but come on in and take a look, and Birdie can explain.
Okay, so Deborah came from a long way. How far did you come from?
Tulalip, Washington.
Oh my gosh, she came all the way from Washington State and she created all this miracle in here. She like even labeled the walls where it says tampons, toiletries, medication.
Do not
socks.
look at my spelling though. That's my Spanish.
You did.
I have no idea.
You did it good. And then youth, the men, the women's clothes, the pants. We have blankets. We have shoes, and we have a bunch of diapers and wipes, feminine products. We've gotten so many blessings from so many people from all over the country, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart for being so supportive of Bridge of Love across the border. And so then I just wanted to also say that if you guys could support us by getting the things that we don't get, you know, from our donations that are here. If you could look up the GoFundMe Bridge of Love. Did it stop?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you could look up the GoFundMe Bridge of Love. That would be amazing if you could support us financially to continue doing the work that we're doing, like when we pick up families, like when we buy them their clothes, the things that we don't get here, underwear, bras, different sizes of socks and jackets that we might not have here. We still need that kind of support, so if you could do that, we'd greatly appreciate it.
So I want to give an example. So we had a family that had some children, 3 children, and so we didn't have some of the young girls' underwear, so Birdie took them to the store to buy the underwear. There were some socks, we didn't have the right sizes. So here we have some used socks, but we also have some new socks that people have been providing. So we're just categorizing because there's men, women, children, all different sizes.
Toddlers, we need socks for babies that we don't have, and there's a lot of other stuff that we still need. Toiletries we always run out of because that's something that is continuously used, so we need extra money for that as well. But ultimately, we're just super grateful for all your support and your donations. Thank you so much for supporting Bridge of Love across the border. Thank you so much.
And thank you. And again, we'll just keep working hard to make sure our dear relatives are safe when they come across the border. And from what we're hearing, it has not been a good experience, and so we're just providing a little bit of love
and compassion and healing. We need healing. They need healing.
So thank you all. Keep helping, keep donating, and keep the families in your prayers. And thank you to everyone who has a big heart, who's donating and helping out.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about what Birdie said, because Birdie was crying.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are like, they put on the waterworks, and they're so proud of their work, and they're so proud of what they're doing, and they're so outraged at the callousness. They're so outraged at the lack of compassion. They want healing. They want compassion. They want healing. They want compassion.
Yeah.
And you monsters out there that have no compassion, like the Border Patrol that ICE that just dumps them. They let them out of the detention center. They don't put them up in hotels. They don't give them wipies and diapers for their kids. They don't take them to eat. They let them out of the detention facility, and there they are. Can you imagine, she says? And she's crying because she's so proud of herself, because she's compassionate, but she's ashamed of Trump, and she's ashamed of the Border Patrol, right? She doesn't tell you that they're working with the people that created the crisis, that has created this system and increased the frequency with which people are then released with ankle bracelets, because you're getting overcrowded facilities in specific places like Tijuana, right? And she doesn't tell you that they're a direct supply chain from the Central America all the way through Mexico and into the United States, that, you know, they're the saviors of the chaos they created. They don't tell you that. But the other thing that is really weird about what she is saying is, and I have to emphasize this, because as a Mexican that has time and time again pointed out the horrible kinds of things that happen in detention facilities that should not happen, like children being abused, etc., right? I've talked about that a lot. Here's what I have a problem with. I have a problem with her saying that as a country, that the United States has a responsibility and a duty, that every American in the United States has a responsibility and a duty to every person that comes here from another country that didn't have a job, that had no family members, that had no plan, that had no place to live, that doesn't have a dime, that doesn't have any means of getting money from someone. And that we, the government, ICE, these institutions, are responsible. This is something that what they're asking for, housing, food, all of this stuff, for however many months these folks are here waiting for their asylum claim to be heard. That has never been done before. Never in history have we done that before. If you come into this country undocumented and you're here working under the table and you're not caught, then you don't get any kind of government support. You, you're not entitled to it because you're not an American citizen. So those people pretty much they try to stay in the shadows, because if they were out going, hey, how come nobody's paying my rent?
That's right. Where's my housing?
Where's my housing? Somebody would kick them out of the country pretty quick. They'd round them up and throw them in jail or something. But these people have no shame. They're like, these people are supposed to be housed and fed. And I'm like, since when? We've never done that in this country. That's never been done. None of the people that came here, and the reason is because the majority of people that come here, whether it's documented or undocumented, or they come here with a visa and they overstay the visa, which is the way that a majority of people do come into this country and then stay here. and become undocumented or illegally documented. Is this, coming in on a plane with a visa and then just staying extra time, staying after your visa is expired. But however people have come here, if they're put in a detention facility because they were undocumented and they are released, whether on bond or on their own recognizance until their hearing, they're not given anything. They're expected, like the rest of the people that have come here before them, to already have that all addressed,
That's
to
right.
already have those plans made.
They are the responsibility of the community. And another thing that she's doing in this whole thing is that she's creating the iconic look of this is a disaster. She's fitting in the Trump stuff, even though she says she hates Trump and all the problems are because of Trump. She's actually creating the imagery that they are dealing with a border crisis, a disaster. They're bringing food and they're bringing diapers and socks, and these children don't have socks, and look at the stuff we've got for them. And so the whole imagery is actually feeding that lie. And also that she was working with Myron Dewey. In the first place, it was his big claim to fame. He did pictures of that warehouse too, because he helped sort things that one day before he went underground after he got questioned coming back across the border. That even that she's working with him or he had anything to do with this, I was suspect right away. And at first when we started bringing her name up months ago, we were like, should we even bring her up? Because she seems like she's intertwined with a lot of stuff, but we don't know that much about her. And look at her now. Look at how deeply entwined and connected she is to all these folks that have been manipulating this and actually setting this up. And
that have now been questioned at the border, that are part of these articles about the leaked documents, the list, the inquiry, the investigation, which I have told you, I believe is linked directly to the Interpol, FBI, Homeland Security, Mexican Secretariat investigation into human trafficking by Pueblos Sin Fronteras. Right?
Yep.
So I want to show you Deborah Parker's picture in this video with Birdie Gutierrez. And you can see that it was dated when it was submitted or posted by Birdie on Wednesday, December 26, 2018. And I wanted to show you that when she posted this video, that it was time-stamped at a time subsequent to when it originally occurred.
I see.
Yeah, because actually, if you go to the Border Support Network Birdie post, she also put this same post in the Border Support Network.
Okay.
She wanted them to hear about it as well, right? This was posted on the network page, and did you show that it was from Border Support Network? You have to go all the way to the left. You see, that's the left. That's the right, the other right, left. There you go, my left. And to the top, Border Support Network. See? Border Support Network. This is, excuse me. This was posted on December 27th. And it's what I showed you before that she posted on her page. She posted it to the Border Support Network as well. But that's not all. She originally had posted pictures of this on her page from the date that it was actually taken on, which was in October. Here is Deborah Parker's Bridges of Love Across Borders post about Deborah Parker sorting things. She's wearing the same black shirt. You can see that.
Yep.
This is from her trip on October 22nd. This was posted in October. This was when Myron Dewey first went down to Tijuana, was in Mexico with the caravan. Okay. Now, why is this significant? Deborah Parker is not just Myron Dewey's wife. She is also part of the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. And on this page, on the web, you will find out more about her. She is also Sai Alza in Tuliap, and she's also Yaqui. She's a board member of this organization. Deborah was elected to the Tuliap tribe's board of directors in 2012. As a board member, Deborah brings to Tuliap leadership nearly 2 decades of experience as a policy analyst, program developer, communications specialist, and committed cultural advocate and volunteer in the tribal and surrounding communities. Serving as the legislative policy analyst in the Office of Governmental Affairs for the Tuliap tribes from 2005 to 2012, Deborah engaged in the legislative process on behalf of the Tuliap tribes by providing quality analysis of issues most pertinent to the exercise of sovereignty and tribal governance, with particular emphasis in the areas of education, finance, taxation, and healthcare. Before joining legislative affairs, Deborah developed 2 unique outreach and educative programs for the Tuliap tribes. Young Mothers was a culturally relevant program for teen mothers, and the Tribal's tobacco program sought to inspire responsible tobacco use among tribal members while acknowledging tobacco's sacred place in Indigenous cultures. Prior to her work with the Tuliap tribes, Deborah served as the director of residential healing school of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation in Canada, and in the Treaty Task Force Office of the Lumi Nation, where she was mentored by American Indian leaders such as Joe Dela Cruz, Billy Frank, Henry Kagi, and Joel James. As a passionate advocate for improved education for tribal members and a belief in the inherent right of Native Americans to expect and receive a quality education, one that is free from racial or cultural bias, Deborah is focused on educational reforms, which include developing curriculum that is a true reflection of an Indigenous ethic and knowledge system. Deborah remains committed to education by volunteering her time in the local schools where her children are enrolled. In 2010, Deborah was honored with a Parent of the Year award from the Washington State Indian Education Association, and in 2012, the National Association of American Indian Educations also named her Parent of the Year. Deborah spent several years in communications and helped to produce video and print journalism for the Native American community, and her film credits include both documentary and narrative work. Deborah graduated from the University of Washington with a Bachelor of Arts degree in American ethics studies and sociology, where she distinguished herself as a scholar and a young Indigenous leader. Deborah lives in Tuliap with her husband, Myron, Dewey, and their 5 children. Okay. I know maybe you didn't want to know all of that about Deborah Parker, but Deborah Parker is very remarkable, and you should know more. Were you surprised, Duke?
Yes, I'm surprised, because you never saw this woman, heard this woman. Myron Dewey was out at Standing Rock for a year.
Dewey hasn't been home forever. And
I know.
He's all over the place except at his home.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
you never hear about his wife.
No, and it's like in the bio that you just read, he lives with her husband and their 5 children. You heard him talking about his children every once in a while, but they've always seemed estranged, like she's not part of his life. It's like he didn't want anyone to know she was part of his life. And then here, he's down there with her at Birdie's storage unit, stacking things and sorting things, just a few months ago, just in October. Mm-hmm. That's pretty bizarre.
And they have this organization, the Resource Organization, has some tribal partners. Check it out, Duke. Look at the tribal partners there.
Yeah.
The Indian Law Resource Center, Mending the Sacred Hoop, the National Congress of American Indians, the Tribal Law and Policy Institute, and this one, Pipe Stem Law.
Pipe Stem Law.
Mm-hmm. Pipe Stem Law. So let's go look at what Pipe Stem Law is, and you will find that pipe stem law.
Yeah, it's a picture of her, and she's a senior strategist.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is from the page. Scroll down here. Deborah Parker.
Yep.
And former vice chairwoman of the Tulip Tribes Board. Oh, yeah, you read that in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Recognized advocate and activist for the rights of Native women. Served as a legislative policy analyst in the Office of Governmental Affairs from 2005 to 2012. Wow.
During her tenure as vice chairwoman, Deborah played a prominent role in the advocacy for the inclusion of tribal jurisdiction provisions in the Violence Against Women Act. In 2013, the National Indian Gaming Association honored Deborah at the 15th Annual Sovereignty Awards Banquet with their prestigious John G. Kiefer Memorial Spirit of Sovereignty Award. A graduate of the University of Washington, Deborah is a frequent speaker at conferences and symposia related to the restoration of tribal sovereignty and safety for Native women. She is the recipient of numerous awards, including Enduring Spirit Award from the Native Action Network, National Indian Education Parent of the Year by the Washington State Indian Education Association, 2011. I'm not reading the years. I'm sorry. Those were all 2011. Pearl Copeman Baller's Civic Participation Award, 2012. Senator Pat Murray's Golden Tennis Shoe Award honoree, 2013. Indian Country Media's Hall of Fame Award, 2013. White House Open Government and Civic Hacking Champion of Change Award, 2013. Center for Democracy named Top 10 Women in Business Woman of the Year Award in Governor's Mansion, Olympia, Washington, 2014. And the Snohomish County Human Rights Award, 2016. Most recently, Deborah was named the Democratic National Convention's Platform Committee.
Wow.
She is a trustee for the Smithsonian's National Museum of American Indians. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Remember that time that Myron went and filmed the thing in there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of easy when your wife is a trustee.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
We're at this museum. Just look the way they indigenize everything here.
Look how we got to do this thing and we didn't get kicked out.
Yep, exactly.
Well, you heard right. And she was also part of the administration under President Obama.
Oh, that's right. I remember you reporting on this.
Here is Deborah Parker's White House Champions of Change mention.
Wow.
Deborah, serving as a legislative policy analyst in the Office of Governmental Affairs for the Tuliap Tribes, 2005-2012, engaged in legislative process on behalf of the Tuliap Tribes to provide quality analysis of issues most pertinent to the exercise of sovereignty and tribal governance, with particular emphasis in the areas of education, finance, taxation, and healthcare. Before joining legislative affairs, Deborah developed 2 unique outreach and education programs. You've heard of this before.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Then, Healing School, Canada, Treaty Task Force, LUMI, got that, read it. As a passionate advocate for improved education for tribal members, belief, yep. Quality education, free from racism, yep. Check. Same stuff. Deborah's focused on educational reform. Myron Dewey, 5 children.
Okay, he's mentioned again.
At the very end, yes. Well, I'm just telling you the truth.
That's right.
Okay. Deborah was also in the San Luis Obispo News in an article that I will share the link to, called The Tribune, written by Bob Hatakainen. I'm sorry, I mangled that. It's a hard one. And you can see there's Deborah. She's pictured next to, it says, in Washington State, in a new campaign ad sponsored by the Democratic Senator Patty Murray. Here, she's shown with former Attorney General Eric Holder on the left and a trafficking survivor and advocate, Tashina Rames, on her right. As President Barack Obama announces that he is signing the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women's Act on March 7 of 2013 at the Interior Department in Washington, D.C. Okay? Now you know why you see so much missing and murdered Indigenous women stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it starting to make sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
It says in this article, for Deborah Parker, the sexual and physical abuse began when she was a toddler, and it happened repeatedly until the summer after 3rd grade. But she never reported it to police, believing they wouldn't have bothered to investigate anyway. Parker, the former vice chairwoman of the Tuliap tribes in Washington state, did tell her story to Senator Patty Murray, Democrat from Washington. I went into Senator Murray's office and I told her that I was a victim of child sexual assault. She held my hand and said, I'm going to help you. Deborah Parker, former vice chairwoman of the Tuliap tribes. And when Congress decided to reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act in 2013, Murray said it would have never happened if Parker had not gone public with her story on Capitol Hill. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
This Violence Against Women Act would not have been reauthorized if Myron Dewey's wife hadn't told everyone that she was a victim of sexual abuse as a child.
Well,
you would not have it right now. And quotes Murray here. She says, I think Deborah Parker made the absolute difference at the absolute critical time being here, standing up and making her personal story become the face of what this was about, Murray said at the time. It was an act of courage and it changed the whole debate. Parker is now featured in Murray's second television advertisement release this week.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And, oh, there's a video. I missed the video.
Oh.
I didn't even see it.
That's too bad.
Well, you can watch it for yourselves if you like.
All right.
It's got a whole bunch of different women. But, you know, one of the things that is distressing to me is that Myron's wife and Myron Dewey would put their support behind an organization that is working very closely with Pueblos Sin Fronteras and Al Otro Lado, who are being investigated for trafficking human beings.
Exactly.
In addition to the fact that we have interviews with a pastor in Tijuana telling us that lawyers from Al Otro Lado have been fake marrying people and giving them advice to file fraudulent asylum claims. And that those same attorneys are working very closely to the group of people that kidnapped a child from his shelter, an unaccompanied minor. Because, you know, what is happening to these victims of trafficking is pretty awful. And the folks that have given support to, funding to, assistance to those who are committing that crime have also got the same yuck on their hands. They also have blame in what is happening to those folks. And I also wanted to show you the article from Indians.com about Deborah Parker and her role in the Democratic platform in this article.
Mark Trahant, Tuliap citizen Deborah Parker leads land's role in crafting Democratic platform. Yeah, you mentioned this in one of the other articles. that she actually influenced the whole platform.
Right.
That's.
So listen to this. The news is that Deborah Parker has been named the Democratic National Convention's Platform Committee. That's both remarkable and important. She was appointed by Bernie Sanders.
Okay. Wow.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
As Nicole Willis posted on Facebook, I am beyond pleased that American Indian and Alaska Native issues are such a high priority for this campaign, so much that one of our platform's one of our platform spots has gone to Deborah Parker. Can you read any of this?
I can try.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty small, but I can try it. Ooh. Gonna be a little tough, but in the news that Deborah Parker has been named to the Democratic National Convention's Platform Committee, that's both remarkable and important. She was appointed by Bernie Sanders. Nicole Willis posted on Facebook, I'm beyond pleased that the American Indian and Alaska Native issues are such a high priority for this campaign. So much of that one of our platform spots has gone to Deborah Parker. Willis is a National Tribal Outreach Director for the Sanders campaign. One moment, folks. Now the context. Every 4 years, political parties craft carefully worded statements. They outline exactly what the party hopes to achieve over the next years, and they should they win the White House and Congress. These are aspirational documents, not a governing document or political legislation. So the way it works is that usually the party's nominee selects the platform committee. That's exactly what will happen on the Republican side, as Donald Trump will start to put his stamp on the Republicans' campaign. But the Democrats are not there yet. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has a sizable lead, but not quite enough delegates to win. And Bernie Sanders is in his tough spot trying to catch up with Clinton, and fewer delegates up for grabs. When there's no nominee, usually the party appoints the convention committee posts. On Monday, the party picked another route. Clinton was awarded 6 seats, Sanders 5, and the remaining 4 will be appointed by the party itself. Protocol for this concession to Sanders, because of his supporters, will be able to influence the party to be more progressive on a range of issues such as higher minimum wage. Parker, a former vice chairman of the Tuliap tribe in Washington, was an early supporter of Sanders. Parker has much to offer the platform committee. First, she understands and can communicate the relationship between the tribes and the federal government and what might be possible in terms of improvement. Second, Parker is a critical voice in the enactment of the Violence Against Women Act. She adds expertise and credibility. For years, the Democratic Party platform included this section on the tribal sovereignty. American Indian and Alaska Native tribes are sovereign, self-governing communities with a unique government-to-government relationship with the United States. President Obama and Democrats in Congress, working with tribes, have taken unprecedented steps to resolve long-standing conflicts, finally coming to a resolution on litigation, some dating back nearly 100 years, related to management of Indian trust resources, administration of loan programs, and water rights. The president worked with Democrats to pass the Health Care Act to promote greater tribe self-determination and create jobs in Indian country. The Affordable Care Act permanently reauthorized the Indian Health Care Improvement Act to improve care for Native Americans. Democrats enacted the Tribal Law and Order Act, support the expansion of the Violence Against Women Act to include greater protection for women on tribal lands, and oppose versions of the Violence Against Women Act that do not include these critical provisions. We will continue to honor our treaty and trust obligations and respect cultural rights, including greater support for American Indian and Alaskan Native languages. Democrats support maximizing tribal self-governance, including efforts for self-determination and sovereignty of Native Hawaiians.
Okay, now, this is the part where it gets interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if you scroll down a little bit more, you will see that there is, in addition to Parker, other members of the Democratic Platform Committee, which include, dun dun dun, Cornell West.
Yeah.
Where else have we seen him, huh?
Standing Rock.
Yeah, Occupy Wall Street. Then we have Representative Keith Ellison in Minnesota.
Oh, that's right.
And Bill McKibben.
Oh, God. Really?
Expert on climate change, 360.org.
Yes, that guy.
Where have we seen him?
Yeah, Standing Rock. Another Standing Rocker.
And then we have James Zogby of the Arab American Institute. Okay, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
He's not connected to Standing Rock that I know of.
Yeah.
But then, do you see how all of these people coming together like this is very, 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 very interesting? Okay. The next thing that we have, Duke, is an article by Indians.com about how Deborah participated in the group of Native women leading a massive march to the White House to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Oh, yes.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to Standing Rock. Okay. And in this, it says that with Republican Donald Trump headed to the White House, Native women led a huge demonstration in the nation's capital on Tuesday, calling for an end to the Dakota Access Pipeline. In his first 100 days in office, Trump has vowed to lift roadblocks to large infrastructure projects like the Dakota Access Pipeline. He even invested his own money in the companies that are financing and operating the controversial pipeline. But Aaron Weiss of the International Indigenous Youth Council, remember the International Indigenous Youth Council? Bore no ill will toward the incoming president despite his negative history in Indian country. She came to Washington, D.C. with a simple yet strong message. I am here to protect his water as well, Weiss said outside of the White House, where Trump will be residing come January 2017. Weiss, who is from the Jicarilla, dang, it's in Spanish, from the Jicarilla Apache Nation and Laguna Pueblo, was joined by 3 other Native women leaders, LaDonna Brave Bull Allard,
Oh, boy.
Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, Deborah Parker, Myron Dewey's wife, Tuliap Tribe, Judith LeBlanc, Caddo Nation, 4, the No Dapple Day of Action. After staging a sit-in at the headquarters of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they led the crowd of about 1,000 people down the streets of Washington, even passing by the newly opened Trump Hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. That's where Weiss, who has been living at the No Dapple encampment, she was at Standing Rock.
Okay. Wow.
Since the summer, made good on her promise. She momentarily stopped the march in front of the hotel located on federal property to offer a prayer. And then, if you scroll down on that, you will see there's a picture of Parker and LaDonna and Weiss holding a sign. They're in front of the Trump Hotel.
I see.
And this picture was taken on November 15th. Excuse me. And then it goes into this No Dapple movement was thriving on prayer along with supporters, hundreds of tribes, countless allies, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But hopes are quickly fading about the ability of President Barack Obama to stop the pipelines, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Allard, Sacred Stone Camp, yada, yada, yada. And then there's Bernie Sanders again. If you keep scrolling down, you will see they're talking about all this other stuff. And it says, oh, all of a sudden, there's a picture of Bernie Sanders, and behind him is the Water is Life sign, and No Dapple.
Okay.
And next to him on the ground, that forehead right there is Deborah Parker. And on the other side of him, at his other elbow, is Miss Allard.
Oh,
LaDonna.
Okay.
Mama LaDonna. And Bernie Sanders is speaking to the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The flurry of activity came in the form of 3 different submissions, one of which accused the Obama administration of engaging in arbitrary and capricious political interference by failing to enter certain documents. They're talking about, stopping the pipeline. Then talks about Kelsey Warren, Energy Transfer Partners. And then it talks about how David Archambault is quoted here saying that Dakota Access is so desperate to get this project in the ground that it is now suing the federal government on the novel theory that it doesn't need an easement to cross federal lands. Chairman Archambault II of the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe said in response to the new filing, "They're wrong and the lawsuit will not succeed. We're looking forward to discussing the easement with the administration and explaining why it must be denied." Then it says that the attorneys for the Dakota Access Pipeline had reportedly told courts that they needed to start moving oil through the pipeline by January 1st. Excuse me. And then there's a video of Bernie Sanders at a day of action for the No DAPL protest. And here is a clip of that.
What we have got to tell Mr. Trump and everybody else, we are not going silently into the night. The stakes are too high for the future of this planet. We are going to be smart. We're going to educate. We're going to organize. We're going to bring tens of millions of people, moms and dads and their kids.
So that was Bernie standing up against the North Dakota pipeline.
Yep.
And of course, he's working with Parker, Myron's wife. And then there's another article from Indians.com. This one, Monday, March 28, 2016, titled "Bernie Sanders Sweeps 3 States as Native Issues Stay on Agenda." And in this article, it says that Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders won contests in 3 states on Saturday, maintaining pressure on frontrunner Hillary Clinton as the 2016 race continues. In Washington, Sanders easily defeated Clinton with 73% of the vote. His vote was striking because of a slew of prominent tribal leaders, including National Congress of American Indians President Brian Cladusby and Ron Allen, the chairman of the Jamestown I'm going to do this wrong again. Sklallam tribe, because they threw their support to his rival. Native Americans have been lied to. They've been cheated, Sanders said during a rally in Yakima on Thursday, according to his campaign. If elected president, there will be a new relationship with the Native American community.
Yes.
Was that a good Sanders?
That was very good.
Oh, my God. Thank
impressed.
You. Prior to the rally, Sanders met with the leaders of the Yakima Nation. Jacqueline Keeler reported for Indian Country Today. The tribe gave him a beaded medallion in the shape of a tribal seal, she wrote, and a tribal dance group performed at the rally itself. During a visit to Seattle earlier in the week, Sanders was given an Indian name in the Lushote Seed language by Deborah Parker.
Wow.
Myron Dewey's wife. Myron Dewey's wife gave Bernie Sanders his Indian name. Did you know that?
I did not know
you
that.
You did not know that.
I didn't.
I know you didn't know that.
No, I did know that. No.
I didn't know everybody was getting Indian names. I did not get my Indian name.
Nope.
Oh, man. I don't want one, though.
Yeah.
I don't. I've got one. You know what? my name was given to me by my family. It was chosen by my grandfather. And I am very proud of my name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Nobody will say your name.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, that
Oh,
too.
you're beautiful, Cindy. Asasena, you know?
Yes. Also, it's just kind of weird that all of these politicians that are connected to going to Standing Rock all had these mystical Indian moments. You know, Ocasio-Cortez went in the Wigwam, came out, and that was her origin story by how she became. This is why I am going to become, you know, the next congresswoman. And that was her origin story. I thought that was fascinating that all of these people have this as their origin story. And, you know, I did not know. I'm not going to try to repeat. It's a Shooty Cup, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I can't say it properly. It means the one lighting the fires for change and unity. That's his Indian name. Bernie's name in this language, the Lushootseed language. And this is a video that was posted on YouTube of the moment when this happened. Here it is for you to see for yourself.
So at this moment, we'd like to bestow you, on behalf of the Coast Salish Nations, this name. And the name is Dewey.
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 We say it 4 times that carry in the 4 directions. We name you this name, Dewey. And in the Lushootseed language, the translation is the one lighting the fires for change and unity.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh,
what a wonderful name. And that's you.
That is you now. From this day forward, friends and relatives, Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders, and soon to be President Sanders is Dewey. Dewey will be known amongst our lands as Dewey.
That is a wonderful honor that you bestow on me, and I accept it with very deep appreciation.
Okay.
Yeah. He looked like he wanted to run out of there fast.
The Scooty Shoe.
The Scooty Shoe. The Scooty Shoe.
Scooty Shoe. No, it's not a song. That's a song. Anyway, there's more to their relationship. And there's an article that goes along with this that you can go and read for yourself about this event that occurred. And the connections between Bernie Sanders specifically and Deborah Parker and the Democratic platform and her role in shaping the Democratic platform, it is pretty incredible. Now, did you look at the Indians, Deb Parker gives Bernie Sanders screenshot? That was the article, right?
Yeah.
You showed that one?
No, we didn't have that because it was a written article at the top, and we don't do them like that.
Okay. So let me share from this article. There's another article about the reauthorization of VAWA, titled, and this is from Indians.com, Pioneering Tribes Share Experience with Prosecuting Non-Indians. And in it, they are discussing the 3 pioneering tribes that have been prosecuting non-Indians for domestic violence offenses and that have yet to see any challenges to their inherent authority. So, you know, Deborah Parker she lends authenticity to the operation of Bridges of Love Across Borders to Birdie Gutierrez. And as you've seen, Myron Dewey, Dave Gaskin, Lolly B, Jake Lee, Kai Kurimoto, Doug McLean, and many of the activists that I have mentioned to you that are umbrellaed under the Caravan Support Network have been actively participating in the manipulation of the caravan and the, organizing of the caravan. Including and especially in the occasions on which They had violent clashes at the border with Border Patrol, including and especially in the cases of where they had violent clashes with the police in Tijuana, where they refused to go to the shelters provided by the Mexican government, etc. And particularly with regard to the kidnapping of the boy named Carlos from the Agape shelter, particularly with the activities of Al Otro Lado, the group of lawyers that are working very closely with these activists that are allegedly, according to what this pastor has told me and showed me, I've showed you as well, that they're helping people file fraudulent asylum claims. For those reasons, I'm sure, and for many others, those folks are currently being investigated by the Department of Homeland Security. I think it is incredibly important to note that someone that was connected to the Obama administration, someone that is currently helping to shape the platform for the Democratic Party, somebody that's working closely with Bernie Sanders' campaign, and I've told you they've been all over this, are working with the group of people being investigated for human trafficking right now. Are working very closely. This woman, Myron Dewey's wife, is so close to the administration. It's so close to government. It's so close. And she is working very much within the topics of violence against women and missing and murdered Indigenous women. And let me just say, I have a problem with the people that are astroturfing the issue of immigration when they are not directly affected and are not the most directly affected by the issue. That includes Myron Dewey and other Indigenous people of North America. It doesn't mean because you are of Mexican descent, if you're not living in Mexico, that you even are experiencing what folks are experiencing there, which they are talking about in their own media, and which they are telling the American government and anyone else that will listen is costing them, is a huge problem for Mexico right now. Many states have now banned caravans coming through their state completely because of all of the havoc that they have wreaked, the resources that they have drained away. In Mexico, some communities are calling for the closing of soup kitchens, homeless shelters, and even church shelters, because they feel that those places have been abused, are being abused, and are causing an increase in crimes, thefts, hijackings. It's all sorts of problems in their communities, and they don't want it. And so this is something that Mexico has to sort out. This is something that has happened, that has occurred to Mexico because so many American influences went into Mexico to lay down this network, this underground bridge, or this underground railroad to bring people in the caravan all the way up to the United States. They've been laying the groundwork for years in some cases, and they infiltrated as volunteers, as missionaries, as donors, as supporters, churches, shelters, soup kitchens, etc. It's been done. Why do you suppose that the Mexican government is investigating all of this? Because they need to get to the bottom of it and how it works, how it functions. There are those of us that have been studying these folks for quite a while. So I think that it's incredibly important for you to note that someone with the power, the access, the reach of Deborah Parker is working directly with the people that are bringing the folks here from this caravan.
Wow. The
people working with Pueblos Sin Fronteras. Don't let that fact sneak by you. And here is one of her, and this is her audio. This is an audio clip of her explaining a song in which she's talking about missing and murdered Indigenous women. This topic is incredibly important. Why I have been fuming about these incompetent, misleading, don't give a flip about the caravan people from these American activist group connected to the Caravan Support Network is because they are causing harm. They are filling detention facilities while calling them themselves progressive heroes, compassionate, kind people that are welcoming the migrants into detention facilities, privately owned detention facilities that are making buku dollars right now with the help of these so-called activists, these so-called clergy members, these so-called journalists, etc. With their help, they're also putting these people at great risk for being arrested and deported. They're draining the resources of Mexico, of the United States, in the process of housing folks that in many cases won't be able to work for a very long time, if at all, during their asylum wait for their asylum claim to be heard, which will drain the resources and put us at odds. Refugees against American citizens, what the outcomes are of the work of these so-called activists is horrible. It divides us further. It virtue signals unity, understanding, and welcoming of other cultures, but it incites racism and hatred and resentment against people that migrate, against people that are looking for refuge, and people that truly need asylum. Just like the backlash from a fake hate crime like you have seen with Jussie Smollett, the backlash of fake activism, of window dressing, masquerading activism, it's going to harm Mexicans, it's going to harm migrants, it's going to harm people that are seeking asylum. And that is why this infuriates me, and that is why it concerns me greatly that folks that are giving support, like Deborah Parker is, to Bridges of Love Across Borders, and all of the groups that work with them, Mark Lane, Minority Humanitarian Foundation, Mohammed Al-Nakib, San Diego Rapid Response Network, Al Otro Lado, Nicole Ramos, Nora Phillips, Erica Pinheiro, because they're also talking about missing and murdered Indigenous women. And that is also a real problem. And it should not have at the forefront of it, leading it, people and groups that are really being investigated at this moment for trafficking people, that are connected to violent leftist groups like By Any Means Necessary and Antifa. That's not what the missing and murdered Indigenous women of this world need. That is the last thing they need. Nonetheless, that is what I feel is happening in this group of people led by people like Deborah Parker, or people that are promoting people like the ones Deborah Parker and her husband Myron Dewey are promoting. In this, you will hear her describing what she's offering as a song for a missing and murdered Indigenous woman. Take a listen.
ACM Haslahel Sitsayal Sasitsta Doholelap. I see my Native sisters are trying to rise for the song. You may stand. I just wanted to give a brief introduction of this song. The song comes from our Native sisters up in the Canadian territory, and it's a song for the missing and murdered Indigenous women. And it's a song that I sing in a lot of our ceremonies, and many of us to help reconnect us. And so it has 4 verses. And in the 4 verses, we start from the east as the sun rises. And the first verse is dedicated to the babies, to our young babies. And as we go to the south is dedicated to our young children and our youth. And as we go to the west, we honor the spirits, the ancestors from the west, and we honor the adults, many of us in this room. And as we go towards the north, we honor the north, and we honor the elders, the wisdom keepers. And in the song, on the 4th verse, I'm going to honor the missing and murdered Indigenous women and the lives that were taken too soon. So that's just a brief explanation of the song. ACM.
Wow.
It's really disturbing for me to hear people that, are histrionically crying like Brenda Gutierrez, Birdie Gutierrez of Bridges of Love Across Border in these videos, like Lolly B crying in these videos, Orlando Cruz, Susie Desba, Vanessa Dundon, aka Vanessa Dundon, these posts that they put up like, I'm drained, I'm emotionally distraught. Jesse Sandoval and their poems and Adam Elfers and the tears and the sadness and the PayPal me and Go Fraud me and all of you, they turn on their audience. All of you out there, why aren't you doing more? Why don't you care? And you evil Republicans, you soulless, hateful racists, why don't you do the fixing of the thing I broke? That's what they're doing. But what's behind it, what I have found and what I have shown my audience, it was what is behind it is a bunch of people exploiting an issue they don't care about one iota. I am in fear for the people that are in the wake of these folks because they are capable of some horrible things, as I learned when I investigated the Kathleen Bennett case. They have no conscience. They have no, they don't look back. They sleep fine at night. They go on scheming and defrauding people. On to the next thing. Off they go.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how people like Deborah Parker and Myron Dewey continue to work with these folks because it doesn't happen, from one day to the next. They've been working with the same people for years together. They support the same people no matter how many flaws, crimes, things they find that they do. They just keep supporting them. And anybody that talks about it, anybody that points it out and says this is wasteful, this is insincere, this is wrong, this is damaging, like yours truly, gets called a wacko or gets called even worse, heartless, whatever. Deborah has a Wikipedia that I think you should look at because it's very interesting what's on it, and you should want to know what Deborah is about, what Deborah is doing, because she is hella interesting.
Oh yeah.
And oh yeah. On her Wikipedia, you will find, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but you will find that she is an activist, Indigenous leader from the United States. You've already known what tribe she comes from, that she was a chairwoman for her board, but for her vice chairwoman for her tribe, But she's also, as of July of 2018, a board member for Our Revolution, the organization, Our Revolution. Remember that.
Okay.
And she is also on the board of the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center, as well as co-founder of Indigenous Women Rise. Got that all?
Yep.
All of it? Okay. As you also know, she was involved with the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act. She served in the 2016 Democratic National Convention as one of the platform committee members representing Bernie Sanders, where she ensured that Native policy initiatives were ultimately rolled into the party's larger platform. And what I thought was very interesting was about those other groups that she is supposedly a part of. So I went to look at Indigenous Women Rise. I'm like, what's that about? Let's go take a look. Here's their Facebook page. And on it, you can see there's a picture from their Indigenous Women's Rise, the cover photo.
Yeah.
And right there in the front, Duke, with the red, well, I guess it's kind of a, like more like a maroon colored hat. There's two people that are wearing these maroon colored hats. One of them is Dallas Goldtooth. He's standing. He's pretty tall. It's like one of the only guys in the picture.
Okay.
In that red hat. And then there's another lady that has a similar looking red hat, but hers doesn't have the gold lettering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed that. The other person that has that hat, same exact hat he's wearing, is Candy Mossett White.
Oh, okay.
Both of whom are part of the Indigenous Environmental Network, along with Joy Braun.
From Standing Rock.
From Standing Rock. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Did you notice that?
Mm.
I thought that was very interesting. And then I took a look at some of the other things on their Facebook page, what they did, what they're part of. And I found that, why don't you go to the next one?
Indigenous Women's Rise March.
Uh-huh.
It's a Native American in philanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
Indigenous Women's Rise Women's March on Washington. Oh, I've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, this is a press release.
I see.
Basically. Excuse me. Can you read that? You can try?
I can try.
At least start off for me.
Okay, Indigenous women will join the National Women's March in Washington, D.C., January 21st, 2017. Indigenous Women's Rise Women's March in Washington is a partnership between...
I got it. Advanced Native Political Leadership, Native Americans in Philanthropy, Native Voice Network, Native Voices Rising, National Indian Women's Resource Center, Ultraviolet, and Continental Network of Indigenous Women of the Americas, North American region, and other key groups working to advance Indigenous issues.
Yeah.
Now, we know that Deborah Parker is associated with Native Americans in Philanthropy because of the Indigenous Women's Rise being posted here, but also we know that she is part of the Native Native Indian Women's Resource Center, because I showed you that earlier. It says in a statement on the Women's March website, says the event is about much more than women's rights and will, quote, send a bold message to our new government on the first day in office and to the world that women's rights are human rights after concerns around rhetoric targeting immigrants of all statuses, Muslims, and those of diverse religious faiths, people who identify as LGBTQIA, Native people, Black people, and Brown people, people with disabilities, survivors of sexual assault. As Indigenous women, we stand together in solidarity with all of these groups for the protection of our collective rights, safety, health, and families. The march first began as a Facebook event with over 160,000 people indicated they will attend to date. So, together with Linda Sarsour and Tanika Mallory, well, that's what the Women's March was.
Mm-hmm.
And they went and got into that. They went and became part of it. They went and intersected. And we see that intersection happening. And here is a video from that march.
We're going to sing a song. It's a women's warrior song. And this song is sang when women march for all the injustices. It's an Indigenous woman's song, and I'm grateful to be able to have the opportunity to sing it with my sisters. So if you know it, please sing this song and put your fist in the air and represent those women, those murdered, missing women and children. Because there's no state on it. just wanted to say, thank you to our mothers and our grandmothers. And I also want to acknowledge our ancestors in this museum right here.
You want a poster?
I want to say that, we fight for the injustice
feels like we're selling.
of the original women of this country. And I want to thank the women here that have organized this to give us the opportunity to say that out loud, because our ancestors, they don't have a voice that's heard in that courtroom. They speak to us. And it's our job to stand up and sing and dance and love one another, because that's what we're here to do. We are the seeds and the blessings of our ancestors, and I wanted to give acknowledgement to that place that holds our ancestors. That's what we're fighting for. It's unfair that we're not able to be in that museum at times to pray with them, but we're right here, right now, praying for them, and praying for our future, and I thank you. And I want my sister to Tokaya Tukashila Wopla Wapi. Lebiacha Matobina Hebier. Chunkfair Opia Matua. My dear relatives, before we say anything, we always thank you praying first. My Lakota name is Bear Woman. My English name is Joanne Spotted, and I use them for the kids. I want to thank all of you, each and every one of you, for coming out today to celebrate life and woman, water, and Uchimaka, Mother Earth. None of you may have never met Mother Earth, but she cleans you, she feeds you, she gives you life daily. She presents the next 7 generations, and you are the next 7 generations without even knowing who you are, what you are, where you come from. I want to welcome you into this land, into this world. But furthermore, I want to sing a song. It's a prayer song. It's a song that says, Creator, have pity on me. Have pity on me and help me to live. Help my people to live. That's what this whole day has been about, is helping our people to live. But before I say that, I want to take a few minutes to express what is really important. I've been waiting for this moment all day, people here in Rome. The United States was bankrupt in 1933. Treaty started in 407 before Christ. There is 2 constitutions, 1787, which belongs to the people, and 1871, which belongs to the corporation. It has never been ratified or dialogued or notified to 564 federal recognized tribes, North or South America, let alone the world. So with that being said, I am calling for a judicial review on the bankruptcy of 1933 and asking for a class action lawsuit, and I would like everybody to be a part of it. Woohoo! Okay, yeah.
Do you want to know who was woohooing?
Who?
Post the Indigenous Women's Rise. The person filming it from from the YouTube, which is the next image here. It's Kevin Gilbert.
Oh my God! I thought it was going to be Bernie Sanders.
It was Kevin Gilbert.
Kevin Gilbert.
Look, he was filming for the Indigenous Women's Rise Women's March finale.
Oh my God!
He was the one filming that from Let Your Soul Play, baby. Kevin Gilbert. Remember Kevin?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Kevin?
Yeah.
Yes. Kevin Gilbert. That guy. One of the Standing Rock people. One of the Standing Rock phonies, right?
Yep.
One of the Standing Rock activists. Kevin Gilbert. And he was the one filming that. Now, I went back to their page, their Facebook page, to look at what was on their Facebook page. Guess what else they had on their Facebook page? Guess who else I found? I found Red Wolf Pope. The guy that...
the rapist.
The rapist, yes. The guy that was pretending to be Native American. Mm-hmm. As you can see, he clearly is very much pretending to be a Native American. This is on the Indigenous Women's Rise page. This is a group with Deborah Parker leading it that has everything to do about protecting women, and they literally are standing next to a rapist. This is also the fake attorney that was leading the lawsuit against Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
With Wash Dewey Young and Michelle Cook and Red Wolf Pope as the lawyer, one of the lead lawyers.
Wow.
So he's actually Chinese, so he's not a real Native American, and he's not even a licensed attorney. Now he's in jail because he was raping women out of his Airbnbs.
Yep.
Guess who else I found? Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas. He was on their page too. Look, there's. Remember, Orlando Cruz was saying, Taboo needs to get down here to the camps. We need Hollywood down here.
That's right.
When they call for Hollywood, it's because they got Hollywood in their pocket. He's appealing to Myron Dewey. Remember, he goes, Myron, get down here. Orlando, you're talking to the wrong person in that marriage. Deborah Parker is the one that brings the Hollywood stars.
That's
okay? Not Myron Dewey. Myron Dewey is lucky to be able to sit in her shadow. She's the one with power. She's the one that can string a sentence together. She's the one that is articulate, intelligent, and working in the administration of Obama. Not Myron Dewey.
Yep.
So I thought, oh, wow. And then I thought, let's go see the Our Revolution Wikipedia, because that must be interesting if she's part of it.
Yeah.
What does it have to say? And this is what it has to say. It says, Our Revolution, commonly known as OR by its initials. It says this article is about the U.S. political organization Our Revolution for the 2016 book by Bernie Sanders. See Our Revolution book. Okay, so there's an Our Revolution book.
Okay.
There's also a 1906 book by Leon Trotsky called Our Revolution. This is not that book. This is the Wikipedia page for the organization. It is an American progressive political action organization spun out of of Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign to continue its work. The organization's mission is to educate voters about issues, get involved in political process, and work to organize and elect progressive candidates, or at least seemingly progressive, I guess. Our Revolution is also the title of the book by Sanders released November 2016. Okay? It's definitely connected to Bernie. Our Revolution has seen significant electoral success since its founding in 2016. Really? Yes, notably, politicians elected with its support include U.S. Representative Pramila Jayapal. Remember I showed pictures of her on my show? In connection to the Hollywood people, the glitterati, the people that work with Winnie Wong.
Oh, yeah.
The PR people connected to Francis Fisher and Bernie Sanders' campaign. Well, guess what? Our Revolution, the organization connected to Myron Dewey's wife, Deborah Parker, helped get them elected. Wow. Helped get them elected. She helped to get them elected. Deborah Parker helps people in this party get elected. Myron Dewey has those reins at his disposal. Who else? Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, you mean Veterans Stand for Standing Rock?
Yep. Exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah.
You mean the 2020 candidate for president, Tulsi Gabbard? Jamie Raskin. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Of course.
Justice Democrats, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And Rashida Tlaib. Helped by Our Revolution. Then they have Randy Woodfin, Chakwi Antar Lumumba of Birmingham and Jackson, respectively. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner, Virginia State Delegate Lee Carter. Significant nominees for the office in 2018 governor's race included Stacey Abrams, Ben Jealous?
Yeah, it looks like it.
And Andrew Gillum. Okay. You see?
Yes.
Wow. Huh? Did you know that?
Nope.
Okay, now you need to hear about what their launch was like and what the focus of Our Revolution is. And if you just scroll down on that page to the launch and focus section, it reads the organization's official launch date, August 24, 2016. designated as a 501c4 with a presentation that was live streamed on YouTube to meetings across the country and shown by Free Speech TV. Our revolution's three main goals are: 1, revitalize American democracy by engaging millions of individuals in the political process; 2, empower the next generation of progressive leaders; and 3, elevate political consciousness by educating the public about issues confronting the United States. More specifically, the organization aims to create, support, promote, and elect progressive candidates from school board to U.S. Senate, support and help pass progressive ballot measures, create, train, and mobilize activists, and both support and participate in protests against such as the Trans-Pacific Partnership and Dakota Access Pipeline.
Wow.
The progressive issues of our revolution promotes are almost identical to those of Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign: reducing income and wealth inequality, working for single-payer health care, reducing the price of prescription drugs, instituting a $15 minimum wage, expanding Social Security, creating jobs, making public college and universities tuition-free. Organization will support minority rights, especially African American, Latino, Native American rights, including government respect of treaties with Native Americans. Organizations that support our revolution include People for Bernie, and I've shown you how involved they were in all of the stuff that happened at Standing Rock, the National Nurses United Group, and the Communication Workers of America, among others. Organization staff include Larry Cohen. He's the chairman and labor leader. President Nina Turner. Nina Turner, Duke. We've seen her name before associated with these real progressives. We've seen her face associated with Winnie Wong.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Erica Andiola, Sanders' campaign Latino press secretary, has joined the organization's communications staff. Our Revolution 501c4 designation prevents Sanders from playing a role in the organization because he is an elected official.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop him from having a 501c4, apparently. And on August 29, the board of Our Revolution was announced as Larry Cohen, Nina Turner. She was a former Ohio State Senator. Deborah Parker, everyone. Deborah Parker. Ben Jealous, civil rights leader. Jim Hightower, political leader, national radio commentator and writer. James Zogby, Arab American human rights leader. Hugh Gutman, former chief of staff of Senator Bernie Sanders. Jane Fleming Klebe.
Okay.
Jane Flippin' Klebe is on this list.
Yep.
From Bold, Nebraska. Environmental activist associated with Menape Lemaire, the person that accused Kathleen Bennett falsely of abusing her mother. These folks are directly involved in a cover-up and a false crime that they imputed onto a completely innocent woman who they left in a jail for 6 months, and they left her elderly mother with dementia in a hospital to die. That's what these folks are capable of. People that support them, that work with them, are none other than Jane Fleming Klebe. And they were part of this organization connected to Bernie Sanders. It's so frustrating. Lucy Flores, former Nevada Assemblywoman. Catalina Velasquez, immigration, reproductive justice, and trans queer liberation activist. And Shailene Fleming Woodley.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to use Fleming instead of effing. Shailene Woodley. Could you believe that?
Wow.
Yes. One of the people that went and got herself arrested.
At Standing Rock.
Yep.
All roads come back to Standing Rock.
All roads do. They all do. And finally, at the very bottom, it says, at the start, the organization faced a significant staffing challenge as 8 of its initial 15 staffers left before the launch when Weaver was chosen as president. They objected to the way he had handled Sanders' presidential campaign and to his decision to make Our Revolution a 501c4. Some staffers also left in protest of a lack of diversity among the organization's leaders.
Wow.
You think? The remaining staff was subsequently joined by an additional 3 staffers, bringing the total to 10.
Huh.
Okay, so now you know about Our Revolution. Everything I've told you just gets more interesting when dealing with Deborah Parker.
Yep.
Remember, her husband is likely on a list because he was detained for 9 hours and questioned and had his phone confiscated by Homeland Security. So did his buddy that he was traveling with, Evan K. Duke.
Yep.
Both of them were sent to secondary
screening.
Secondary screening. Yes. And finally, I want to look at post-election activism. Okay? There's post-election activism on the wiki about Our Revolution. And I think it's important because after the election, they went on to do activism. As you remember, Desiree Kane was on the People for Birdie page by Christine Nobis. Christine Nobis was traveling around with the man that accused Kathleen Bennett of a fake crime and left her in a jail, left her mother in a hospital to die. He was traveling around with Christine Nobis from conference to conference, from rich people conference to rich people conference, talking about what their activism is. People associated with this Our Revolution group are out there doing the activism on behalf of what? Well, according to the wiki, it says in January of 2017, Our Revolution activists work in local elections in California to advance Sanders' agenda. According to Executive Director Shannon Jackson, Our Revolution is going to continue to do this around the states. A May 2018 article in Politico described Our Revolution as flailing and in disarray. According to the article, by May 2018, organizations' monthly fundraising totals were 1/3 of what they had been in May of 2017. Moreover, the article noted internal conflicts and tensions within the organization. Wow. That's an incredible thing to hear, given that they were so freaking incompetent and dysfunctional. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Such as that the board members and Sanders' 2016 presidential delegates questioned Our Revolution President Nina Turner's actions and motives. Specifically, they questioned whether Turner was using the organization as a springboard for a presidential run of her own and whether she was, quote, settling scores within the Democratic National Committee from 2016. Turner attempted to hire Teslin Figaro, who frequently appeared on Fox News to praise Trump and made anti-immigrant comments, as the chief of staff of Our Revolution, but was overruled by the board's executive committee. Additionally, Lucy Flores resigned from the board April 2018 due to what she claims was the organization's lack of outreach to the Latino community. Our Revolution also endorsed Dennis Kucinich for governor of Ohio in 2018, which some Ohio Democrats questioned because of Turner's close relationship with Kucinich's running mate. A subsequent article in the New Republic concurred with the Politico report and suggested that changes may be necessary at Our Revolution for its succeed at its goals. After Politico reported the discontent with Figaro's position in the organization, Turner announced that Figaro would still be part of the organization and noted that Figaro's anti-immigrant pro-Trump commentary was not endorsed by Turner or Our Revolution. Figaro said that she, quote, offered no excuse for her comments and questioned the motives of those who spoke to Politico about her. Erica Andiola, an undocumented immigrant herself, who was a former political director at Our Revolution, said that Nina Turner fired her after her activism in favor of the DREAM Act. Boy, sounds like there's a lot of discontent.
Definitely.
The Young Turks, a progressive American news and commentary program on YouTube, discussed the Politico article in their May 21 show, calling it an attack piece.
Oh, really?
Cenk Uygur strongly objected to its claims and denied its accuracy, including its assertion that the group had, quote, left many Sanders supporters disillusioned, and that the group had, quote, fueled doubts about Sanders' organizational abilities heading into 2020. Our Revolution board member, don't you think it's incredible that they're in this wiki?
Yeah.
Our Revolution board member James Zogby disputed Political's reports in a series of tweets, calling it a hit piece fueled by a few disgruntled souls out to harm Nina Turner. The Politico article has also been criticized by others on similar grounds, as well as for its anonymous sources and lack of quotes. An article published by The Common Dreams, also broadly disputed by Politico's article, as did a Naked Capitalism piece. So, the Summer for Progress, several progressive organizations, including Fight for 15, Justice Democrats, which is the baby of Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, Democratic Socialists of America, Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, National Nurses United, there they are again, Working Families Party, and Brand New Congress announced in July of 2017 a push to encourage House Democrats to sign to a people's platform which consists of supporting, quote, 8 bills currently in the House of Representatives that will address concerns of everyday Americans. These 8 bills and topics addressed are, I'm not going to tell you.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you. That's where I'm going to stop. You can go look at the wiki for yourself. But now we have a much better understanding of the political ties and where they come from and who they come through. Miss Deborah Parker, Birdie's buddy of Bridges of Love Across Borders. There are lots of bridges, and they go right to Deborah Parker and all of her connections and to the Bernie Sanders campaign. Thank you for listening to A Mexican Crossing Lines with your host, Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
Here on 88.1 FM, KPPPLP Fargo-Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. Do not miss our next show. I will be bringing you more connections to the investigation about the human trafficking. Good night, and thank you.